Well, hello. Today, I'm planning to talk about planners. That was a joke. But anyway, I'm going to talk about planners. So, I want to tell you about young squirrel. When young squirrel was in junior high school, if he had a homework assignment, like let's say we got a homework assignment in algebra, he would write the assignment down on a piece of paper, put it on the appropriate page of his math book, and then when he got to his locker, he'd put the math book into his backpack. That was my planner. Longer term assignments, or some kind of reminder, I'd usually write it on a piece of paper, put it in my pocket, which worked very well for me because as it turns out, if I write stuff down, I remember it. As I got older, that didn't work so well anymore. And that's where the notion of a planner comes in. Now, I've been involved with trying to teach high schoolers how to use a planner, and they resist it because, for a lot of them, their lives would be better if they use a planner, but they haven't really been confronted with enough going on that there are real consequences to not using a planner. So, I'm not whining about getting older. This isn't a memory issue that I'm talking about. My problem, and your problem too if you're watching this, is that you have a lot more to remember as you get older. A lot more appointments, a lot more connections, a lot more obligations, and a lot of that includes very specific times. And you have to remember all that. Well, the old thing that I used to do we almost had to restart the video there. So the old thing I used to do where I'd write it down in my planner, on a sheet of paper in my math book or on a piece of paper I stuff in my pocket, just isn't doing it for me anymore. It might work while I get from point A to point B. That is about it. So I got more to remember. So I have come to realize that another thing about me is that I am a planner. Like a person who plans ahead. I don't like to be spontaneous. Now, I'll be spontaneous if I have a plan. Like, I already know there are 2 days over Easter break that I am going to spend in Leeds, South Dakota, staying at the Town Hall Inn. Don't stalk me there, please. But I'm going to stay there for 2 days over Easter break. I already know which 2 days. I know that even though right now it's barely January of 2025, and we are not talking about something happening until the end of April, because Easter is late this year. That's how I roll. I'm going to have specific ideas for each of those 2 days in Easter, Easter, but I am open to new adventures while I'm there. 1 year I did that, and so anyway, 1 year I decided to go see Crazy Horse, just kind of on the spur of the moment. I was near there, and I just thought, that's just a few more miles, let's go see Crazy Horse. So I went and saw Crazy Horse. I'd like to do that again. No, not on my itinerary, but it fit because I knew everything around it. I knew my plans. So that's how I roll. I like to have it planned, and then I'm free to be spontaneous if I so choose. So, anyway, that's why I struggle to work with last-minute people. That includes working with teenagers, even though that's my job, because teenagers seem to work in the last-minute deal, because I like to plan out as far ahead as I can. I can tell you, I could have told you last summer that no, 3 o'clock on February 5th I am not available because I have a dentist appointment then. I can do that. Because I plan ahead. I write these things down. And you may have project goals, daily tasks that need to get done, your daily schedule, all that. So as an adult, your life is getting just to be a lot more complicated. We have a lot more to remember. This camera quit the last time, so I'm kind of keeping an eye on it. We have a lot more to remember. We may even have things to remember for other people, like children or spouses. Especially if you have an organizationally challenged spouse. I have always been amused by the couples where one person just keeps track of all appointments, and you talk to the other one, they're like, gotta ask my spouse, because I don't know what we're doing that day. Well, that's just how they roll. It works for them that one does the organization. Now, to me, it's always like, but don't you keep track of your own schedule? Well, some people really don't. It's not in them. That's why they need a planner even more. But anyway, the brain struggles to remember all this stuff. And that's why we need a second brain, a written brain, or on a computer brain, something like that. And this is going to be one of several videos about time management and that second brain. I originally planned a time management series, but I've realized that whole second brain thing kind of flows into it, so I'm glorping them all together, if glorping is a word that I'm allowed to use on a YouTube channel. So now what this planner looks like is going to depend a lot on you, and I hope I have something to offer here, not just for my fountain pen people, but for my electronic people as well. Some of you use that electronic calendar and electronic to-do list because it's so handy on your phone. I mean, it's right there. Well, not on this app, but this app's running the camera. But it's right there. I was born in the 70s, so cell phone isn't second nature to me. I didn't get my first one until I was in my 40s, and like I mentioned to my students, my parents didn't buy me my first cell phone. I bought my first cell phone, and I'm still using it. Actually, one of the first remarks they had when I held it up as an example today, because I got a group of new students, was, "It's so small." Okay. But anyway, so a lot of what this second brain is going to look like, what this planner looks like, is going to depend on you. And I hope I have something to offer here, not just for my fountain pen viewers, but for my electronic viewers as well. Some of you use that electronic calendar and electronic to-do list because it is so handy on your phone, especially if it's a small one like this that will fit in your pocket. So in this video, I'm going to talk about planners and the features you will want in those planners. I'm not going to endorse a specific product or design because I have yet to find the perfect planner, including any that I've designed for myself. So let's just imagine, and I will use some B-roll to help you imagine it. I want you to imagine a single sheet of paper. On this single sheet of paper, we're going to make a yearly planner. Not a category I put in my headings, but a yearly planner. So we're going to take that sheet of paper, we're going to divide it into 12 equal sections, one for each month. Now you might put some important future dates like dentist appointments, some goals, maybe monthly parts of long-term projects. You might even discover, oh shoot, I better put that February dentist appointment in there, and dadgummit, I better put the day and time for it too, because I can't just say February dentist appointment. I gotta show up like at the time and the day they're expecting me, not just sometime in February whenever it's easy. And I got a minute because I was at the feed store. Which means you're starting to look at a monthly planner, which is one of my categories in the headings. Now, on your monthly calendar, that's one of the essentials, I would say. I don't really use a yearly calendar, but a monthly, yes. So that's going to be it should be a bird's eye view of each month. So I should be able to look on one page or a spread of pages. If it's 2 pages, like not a planner, but 2 pages like this, that's good enough. Because for most people, specific days matter. I can't, went through all that. So one way I like to do that is if you have a monthly grid where you have one box for each day. So pay attention to whether your calendar's weeks begin on Monday or Sunday, because both exist. It's very uncomfortable to get a calendar that starts on Monday when you're used to a week that starts on Sunday. If you're from the United States, you're probably used to a calendar that starts on Sunday. If you're from a lot of other countries, you're probably used to one that starts on Monday. And why they're different, don't know, didn't care enough to research it. But both exist, and you want the one you're comfortable with. But I like this grid layout because it gives a nice visual dimension to the month. And that helps me remember stuff. Now, I'm not all into decorating my calendars and my planners. I just want my stuff on there, and that's that. But, that visual thing does help. So the size of the box for each day does allow more or less detail. So both formats are going to... Oh, sorry, I skipped a paragraph there. So another format that I have used is a 3-column format. I'll have a date, I'll have a day, and then I'll have a major events for that day column. So this is nice and sequential on your page in an obvious way. At one time, before I used my current system, I used to copy my grid out onto this format every month because it would be a way to remind myself, okay, these are the big things this month. And then I could carry my month with me without losing that big yearly overview. And, it divided up my planner a little bit. I like to have all my months together, so this is a way to have it mixed in there also. So both formats are going to let me put down important appointments, and I can check for conflicts. I also like a section on the page for notes. So, true story, this one's earned me almost $1,000. I'm a teacher, and one of the projects I've been working on is there is a teacher shortage in the United States, and that includes a shortage of substitute teachers. One year, we got to the end of the year because we always were paid, for any subbing we did. So we get one 50-minute period a day of work time where we can work on tasks and we're not teaching kids. And but that kept getting taken because, I need you to go sub for Mr. Woozy Woozy. And, today Mrs. Boozy's kids are sick. And Boozy was an accident. I'm sorry. That was... none of my colleagues are boozies, I don't think. But anyway, my point is I ended up subbing a lot. And then when I got the form to check all of their records, there was a lot of days missing. But then, it mattered, but I was able to quickly say, hey, because I had my planner, and all I had to do was trot back to my classroom, get out the planner, where I had written down in the notes all the days I subbed and for who each month. So that was very cut and dry, very black and white, and it was right there in the notes. I didn't have to search for it by paging through it day after day, the way the person I checked it with did. I didn't have to even go through the grid. I just had it all right there. So, yeah, made me about $1,000 that month. So, anyway, so write your notes. And as you work with your monthly planner, getting back on topic here, you might find that it just doesn't have a lot of detail in it. You might be like, I want to do this at 3 o'clock that day, this at 4, this at 5, this at 5:30, this at 6. Oh, shoot, I'm out of box. Well, we got a solution for you. So we may have to zoom in a little bit, and that is where we get to the weekly planner. So you might find yourself packing more and more into each day of your calendar, and maybe even a daily schedule. In that case, you need to zoom in a bit, and the week is a good natural unit for us. You need to be able to see the week at a glance, and I actually keep a long, really long, skinny tablet on my desk. It has a box for all 5 work days of the week, plus it has another box that has Saturday and Sunday on it. And that's good for me for just at a glance recording the week's major events. Yes, I do have my full planner, which I'll talk about, don't worry. It has a weekly planner in it, but I found I don't use it. I like the paper better, because it's really handy to just look down at my desk and say, nope, busy on Friday. So that weekly view is very helpful. And yes, that information is duplicated usually on the monthly calendar and on the daily calendar, but who cares? I want it all there. I want to be able to see it, and the more I write it, the more I'm likely to remember it. But anyway, so scheduled appointments are good, especially if there's several each day. You might start putting, your more important tasks. Maybe you'll put some quick notes, some weekly goals. But again, as you start packing more and more into it, more and more detailed, more and more fine-grained, this format starts requiring larger and larger boxes, and there is too much detail for a good weekly overview at a glance. And that means we need to zoom in a little bit more to the daily format. Now, the simplest daily calendar would be a blank page. So going back to what I think I said, I had to film this twice because somebody forgot to press record the first time. But anyway, going back to what I think I said earlier, I used to be able to get away with, I'd have a whatever scrap piece of paper I had, and I'd write my to-dos on it, and then when it was filled up and they were all done, I'd throw it away, get another scrap piece of paper. But, so a nice blank page, you can write your to-do list on it, you can write appointments on it. You could, like mine does, even have a daily schedule. It goes from 5 a.m. to sometime past my bedtime anyway. But it's got a good long day on it. Maybe you do the quadrant thing where you prioritize, and you've got most important, second most important, third most important, fourth most important. Maybe you want that on there. I like to have a notes section. Some people are really into having a gratitude section on it. What am I thankful for today? Some people like habit trackers. There's a lot of things. It all comes down to what you're into. What do you want on that daily page? I have actually seen some that have this really interesting circular design with time blocked out on it, and it looks so cool. But I can't figure out how I'd actually use it. But it sure looks cool. So if you have a use for that, let me know down in the comments, please, because I want to be cool. But anyway, to me, the to-do list gives me all those little tasks I need to accomplish that day, like, grade the freshman papers, change your sheets, those kind of things. I mean, how long does it take to change my sheets? How long does it take me to put in a load of laundry? It probably takes me 5 or 10 minutes to hang up a load of laundry. Maybe I need to block out 15 or 20 minutes to fold a load of laundry and put it away. You kind of have to decide. But like, I will put a list of here's the things you need to run off on the copier today. On my planner list, you will actually see the development of this video because I had to-do lists to-dos on each day. Write outline for planner video, write rough draft, type rough draft. I don't know why I wrote and typed this one, but I did. Edit planner video or planner script, film A-roll, film B-roll, and I had all those things as to-dos. So those are good daily things. Now, I wrote a category in my notes. I called it other, but, buckle up, because here comes a lot of other. But there are other ways to divide up your planner. That's one really important consideration. Most of the planners you buy, including the one that I use, are divided up so they start over on January 1st. Now, that sounds awesome. New year, new planner. But in my job, that doesn't work for me. My job, I have 2 semesters, one in the fall, one in the spring, that are all part of a single year. So to me, it would be a lot more useful if my planner broke up between June and July, kind of the slow part of my year. Because my year is divided up into 3 parts, the 2 semesters, the 2 academic semesters, and then summer. And yeah, I might be taking a class or 2 that summer. I'm hoping to take a few classes soon. But that's it. And it doesn't work the way most planners are set up. So that is something to consider. Other things you might want to have in your planner are places for notes, at the end. Like, well, I don't have the 2026 planner yet. I actually do, but, pretend I don't. But I just got a dentist appointment for January 3rd, 2026. So now I can write that as my note till I get that new planner. Another thing I do, I write personalized letters to each senior that gives me a graduation announcement. Well, as I get graduation announcements, I write them in a list in the back of the planner. I can just check them off as I get them written on my time. And I can schedule it into my daily planner. Like, oh, today we're going to write Edna's letter. But again, the big thing is this planner has to work for you. So under using that planner, the very first sentence I wrote is the best planner is the one you will actually use. I wasted a lot of money on some very nice planners that I never used. Just whatever reason, something about them didn't work for me. I even tried out some software. Didn't use it. Wasted money on that software. So be sure you're going to actually use the thing. So first, you need to be able to quickly and easily put things in it. Well, for me, who types on his cell phone like this, not that that the kids can do, this is hell for putting anything into it. Plus, we're not supposed to have cell phones in school. The kids aren't supposed to have them. So I can't just whip out my cell phone and like, let me check if I'm free. And all the kids will be like, that doesn't work. So the computer screen would be more accessible for me. Because it is, I can actually type. I'd rather read an email on the computer screen or a text on the computer screen than on my cell phone. But it's definitely not very portable. And just to add to the fun, my personal computer is a Macintosh or an Apple. I don't know why I said Macintosh. They used to use that name a lot. You don't hear it anymore. But I have an Apple, my personal computer. So my Apple calendar, my work calendar, which is Microsoft, don't play well together. And for a little while, I was trying to do YouTube stuff on a Google calendar just to make it more fun. No, they just did not play well with each other. And what a pain in the ass, pardon my French, trying to get it all on this thing. So that didn't work. And, I was also using an app called Todoist to keep track of all my tasks for each day. Wasn't working for me. So I tried several different paper planners. They either had a lot of features I didn't use or they lacked key features that I really needed. So the only way was to really make my own planner. So I experimented with bullet journaling for several years. Now, not quite the way the author bullet journaling proposes, but it was bullet journaling, my version of it. And that actually worked the best for me. I had a monthly grid in OneNotebook. In fact, it's over there. I'll put it in the B-roll footage. It was a Midori Traveler's Notebook, and I don't have it set up that way anymore, but I had a whole notebook in it for just notes. I had a calendar with the grid in it for where I could get the monthly overview, and then I had another notebook where I'd have the column for each month, and then the following pages would be each day, and then a new column page for the new month, and so on. And I could put notes in there and whatever. So I would copy the 3-column format I was talking about out of the grid each month. And that would remind me, you're going to have a basketball game, and this is going to be a busy month, or this will be a slow month, and whatever. And then I'd have each day, there'd be a to-do list, so I could just check off each thing as I did it. And when needed, if I had a day where there were a lot of scheduled things, I'd just write in that schedule and write down, 10 o'clock this, 11 o'clock this, 11:30 this. I just write it all out. So I used the paper in there pretty efficiently. And, I'd switch out this particular notebook every time it was filled. And everything important from it was pulled out and archived. I'd type it into Evernote or whatever. I've never been one for pretty planners. The Midori Traveler's Notebook is pretty just because of its functional nature. There are whole communities of people out there who share their beautiful planners online. They share photographs of them. Mine would never make it in there. The nice thing about this format for me was it was really portable. In fact, it was more portable than what I use now. And from time to time, I consider going back to what I did before. I could take it everywhere and quickly write in it. Now, what I've been using the past few years is an e-ink tablet. It's a Remarkable tablet, if you care. In fact, I spent the big bucks and got the Remarkable Pro. But I bought a PDF from My Deep Guide, and it has almost 1,800 pages in it. So in real life, that would be a 900-page book. So 2 of these, only with much bigger paper, if you can imagine that. Clearly, I don't use a lot of features in it. Like, I don't use the gratitude journal. So, I've got 365 pages of gratitude that I don't use. I don't use the weekly planner, so what's that? 52 pages of weekly. There's a quarterly planner in it, which I guess would be just 4 pages. I forget what all is in it. And there's a whole bunch of list pages I don't use. So, it's overkill. But I'm not carrying around a 900 sheets of paper. So it kind of works for me. Because it's all on my tablet. But, as I said, I have been tempted to go back to the Midori. The biggest reason I don't is, like, if I take a lot of student notes one day, I can just email it to myself. And I'm not worried about, if I, God forbid, lose my tablet. My planner and everything on it is still safe because it's backed up in the cloud. Whereas if I lost my Midori, I think I would bawl. So there is that. One interesting format. So I'm giving you ideas. I like index cards for certain things. Well, I found an index card planner. It was a stack of index cards in a really, really nice wooden box. There were 12-month cards that had a really small grid, but a grid on them. And then there was a card for each day that included space for your to-do list and your daily schedule. And then the wooden box was designed to hold the daily card upright. And I feel like there were some other tools in there too, but I don't remember what they are. Okay, so when you use a planner, what I like to do, in fact, what I'm going to do after I'm done filming this, is I like to write up my planner the night before. I write up my tasks for the next day. It lets me assess what I did and didn't get done, and maybe what I could still get done. Some things get migrated to tomorrow, and that act of rewriting forces me to, first of all, acknowledge that it didn't get done. Now, that's not a guilt trip. That's just didn't get that task done. And then I can evaluate. Did I plan too much for the day? Did I use my time badly? Or maybe so much other crap that I wasn't planning on ended up getting dumped on me that day, and it didn't end up getting done because of that. So, good to know. Now, if possible, I try not to put work off on to future me, because future me is a different person. Present me made the commitment. Future me didn't make the commitment. And I know we're the same person, but it helps me to think of future me as somebody else. So I try not to make big assignments for future me by saying, well, screw it, I'll just do it tomorrow. I'd rather get it done now so that future me, the new person, can take care of his needs on that day. And I know that's not perfect because, one of the things with having a planner is if you have a large project, I can break it up into smaller projects, all written with an eye to finishing this project early. So planning this video, as an example, maybe, well, it is unless something bad happens after I record this, but maybe my plan is to publish it on Wednesday morning at 3 a.m. my time, which I do. Don't worry, I'm not up at 3 a.m. I just schedule it for 3 a.m. Whenever it gets done, it gets put on YouTube and scheduled for 3 a.m. So I could write, film, and edit Tuesday night. Well, it's not Tuesday night. I'm filming this on a Monday night, And all the other stuff that I'm about to list got done before tonight. So, but, last week me could have just said, oh, do a planner video Tuesday night. Yay! Tuesday night me is like, oh, so I have to do multiple edits of the script. I have to film the A-roll. I have to film the B-roll. I have to edit it. I have to make sure everything's working. I have to make a thumbnail. Tuesday night me is pissed off. Well, why didn't I get this done before? But if I break it up and do different things on different nights, hey, that's the joy of the planner. We can plan ahead and make it all into smaller little projects that none of them make you say, I hate this YouTube thing, it eats up too much time. So, future me isn't pulling an all-nighter. Future me might even say, hey, why don't I film the B-roll for this, which I did do, along with my Majon V60 B-roll footage, the part where you're looking at the pen. I could do that in a single setting without changing anything. Lights are set up, camera's set up, everything's set up. I just get that done. How about it? Huh? So, getting work done ahead of time is great, especially because life does throw surprises at me. I can control what I can, and I should, and so should you. Control what you can, because there's a lot in life you can't control. So, to wrap all this up, I don't care what format your planner takes. You need to find a format that works for you. And just be honest, are you truly keeping, with your current system, are you truly keeping track of all that you need to? Are you adequately planning out your projects? Are you planning far enough ahead? I want to finish things and just kind of relax while everybody else is like, oh shoot, I better get started on that. I want it done by then. So, do you do a good job blocking out time? Is your daily to-do list doing it for you? Every time I've improved my system, it was after an honest assessment saying, well, you're kind of failing there, squirrel. Do better. So that's why, again, at the end, I'm just going to wrap this up by saying that the best planner is one that you will actually use. So I want to thank you for watching, and I would welcome you to comment down below, what do you use as a planner? Or do you just kind of fly by the seat of your pants? Are you a back of whatever scrap paper type of planner? Do you have a nice paper planner? Are you an electronic planner? I think it would help a lot of people to know what you use as a planner. And if you're one of those index card planners that I described, I'd really love to know more about that system. It doesn't appeal to me, but it sure sounds interesting. And that circle time blocking thing, I would love to find somebody who uses that. So please feel free to leave your comments down below, and look forward to more in this series about kind of your second brain and time management. So thank you for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.